we just got done with Expo recently, so we're talking about competing.
Yes.
I wanted to start with half and half pizzas, but we can get into that later. While we're on the note of competitions, you, Kira, actually did pretty well. Was it your first competition?
Yes.
Yeah.
The
First
very
competition.
first.
It was our second expo. It was the one after. So COVID one we hadn't started, and then we went to the one that was at the normal time in March, and that was
And we had so we had just signed our lease here. We
Wow.
weren't here yet. We were still teachers.
Yeah.
So I'm, making pizzas on the weekend and whenever late at night because, I had a full-time job
Yeah.
and we were trying to open this shop. Oh, it was a lot. Oh gosh. But I was very inspired. I'm a vegetarian and I was very inspired by, baby bells and shallots, the way you could shape them and make them look pretty. Again, the whole artsy thing. And I said, I was really intrigued by Point Reyes Toma truffle cheese. They actually sponsored the cheese I had. I reached out to a bunch of people in San Francisco Bay Area, and I got flour, I got seasonings from all over, and I thought, okay, this is really awesome. I think I'm gonna compete with these things. And his brother works for Frontier Energy.
Oh, energy.
And
Okay.
he they have a commercial kitchen setup that we could go. We'd never worked in deck ovens or
We'd never
anything.
worked with a deck oven, and so we were like, we're gonna go there. And I mean, we'd worked on the Gosneys.
Yeah, we had
at
the
that point.
Gosneys
We had already kind of been doing that a little bit, but not a lot. And we were like, oh God, what's this gonna be like? What's the cook time gonna be like? It's a bigger chamber. What are we saying? Any of that? And so we worked with Chef Mark over there, and he was like, oh yeah, and he was dialing it in, and he's giving us advice about
just portioning things out on your hotel plan.
The
didn't know that.
simple things like that, right? Just set up on the hotel
In the
plan, just
order
get your stuff organized.
Get your me's ready. Right?
Yeah, I didn't even think about
and
that.
it's like, when you're a home cook, it's we always laugh. We Ratatouille, the cartoon.
Yeah.
It cannot be mommy in the kitchen. We joke that we're mommy in the kitchen quite a bit, and it's so that was like get out of being mommy, But anyway, so you got to practice and bake.
And I felt confident, and I went for it. I practiced. I was there early, practicing in the morning and practicing on the ovens. As I just kept practicing, and then I went for it, and I was shocked. I was really proud of what I did. So shocked, but I was not shocked because I had a banging pizza. I thought this was all vegetarian. Let's go. And I finished fourth in overall, and then second in our division.
You got to tell them about how we found out.
You're the one that found out first. You tell him.
So they released the top 3 early in the evening. So we were out at
Good
Pie. Yeah, Good Pie, and we'd met another fellow Pizziolo, and we were having some Negronis, of course. Having some pizza. And
it wouldn't be a pizza hang without them.
Right.
That's right.
And we knew it came out, so we looked and we didn't make top 3. Oh, well, it's first shot, you're never going to make it on the first time, And so go to bed because I knew I was going to compete the next day and just wanted to get rested and together. Wake up 2:30 in the morning for whatever reason, because I'm not good at sleep. And I was like, well, I wonder if at this point they have to have released it because nobody's doing this at 2:30 in the morning. They're not still doing it. So it has to be out. And I look and they're better about it now. Like they rank them. But like before it was just like, it was ranked by when you went.
Yeah.
So you had to look at the score.
Oh, nice.
So I looked at her score and I was like, wow, that's really high. And I was like scrolling up and down. So, my eyes aren't even open.
2:30 in the morning. They're like still they're trying to close back down.
And then I'm like, holy Moses. And I go, babe. She goes, leave it alone. Not tonight, honey. And I was like, no, you finished 4th. She's like, what is it?
I was like
straight away.
I was shocked.
And then we were like, we wanted to call our parents, and it's like it's 2:30 in the morning. It was fun, and then, so I didn't sleep at all that night.
And then it was validating, and and then we came back and we opened a shop knowing that I think we can do this. We make pretty darn good pizza. It was our recipe that we use here still. Obviously about a bigger scale now, and we've tweaked it since then, of
The
course.
dough, yeah.
You're always tinkering with your dough.
Of course.
You know,
Yeah.
whether, and just, it just evolves, you know, and you're like, I don't want that profile anymore.
Well, consistency.
Yeah. So, so it's been great. It's fun.
But the validation is so important because as you're making this jump from teachers
Yeah.
to opening up a brick and mortar, I'm sure you have like a bunch of these thoughts in your mind.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And everyone else has thoughts too.
Oh, tell me about the internal and the external thoughts.
Oh gosh, you know, a lot of it, and I'm going to coin this phrase over and over, but a lot of people were acting like we were playing pizza.
Right.
Like, oh, that's so cute.
Like how kids play house.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, you want to
Right.
open a cute little pizzeria?
Well,
That's so cute, you know.
our headmaster
Yeah.
from the school that we taught at, he recently came in, a month or two ago.
Yeah.
And he said, I think he was trying to be nice, but he said, you know, to be honest, when you opened up here, I didn't think you were going to make it. I was like, oh,
Oh my. Oh.
thanks.
Headmaster.
That's pretty cool. But
Yeah,
now,
but it's not like there were people like feeling that way about what we
Interesting.
were
right.
gonna
So
do.
again, that's a year and a half into us doing our thing. And now, of course, now we're going to cater for them. So I guess who's laughing?
Yeah, who's laughing? Yeah.
But I mean, you know, just things like that. I think the hard thing when you're not from it and you're trying to do it, like you're worried not just about operations and are we doing this correctly and are we doing all these things and how do we get the market out there and just the business side. We were also worried, like, is this good? Do you like this? Do enough people like this that we can? We thought it was good, and we had enough feedback that we thought it was good. But we also, like, you know, there's always that uncertainty. And so I think the first 6 months or so, we kept saying, is this good enough? Is this good enough? And now we're like, when people don't like it, it's just not their style of pizza.
Sure.
Like we've shifted our mindset over the time. It's like, it's just not because there's so many styles of pizza and
There is
people,
so many.
when you say pizza, it's a loaded question kind of thing. Like, what's your favorite pizza? It's like, well, pizza, you know, but what we do and how we present it, we think it's very good. And if it's not your style, that's okay. But we know that we've presented something that's very good. Whereas before it was like, is this good? Is it, you know, you were hoping that it was good.
Yeah. Confidence comes from, I think, in my eyes, experience, right? And like people giving you feedback. You did the pop-ups in the wineries.
Yes.
You won the competition.
Yes.
And yet people were still giving you some crap. I'm almost wondering, like, why? Because that's not the story that I hear. I normally hear, oh, you're going to follow your dreams. Great, especially after the pandemic. Or, oh, you make great pizza at home. You should go do this. I'm sure you heard some of that too. But to hear the negative, it's so surprising to me. Why do you think that happened?
I don't know. It always surprises me when people say, oh, well, good luck with that. Oh, and that's the way you're doing it. And, well, if I da-da-da. And it's like, well, but you
So some of it is, I mean, you have to decide on who you're going to be. And we knew we were going to be a smaller business to begin with. So I wasn't worried about the entirety of this town and the next town loving our pizza and coming in. I think they should, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't worried about, I was like, we only need, you know, X number of customers that, you know, have pizza once a month or once every 2 months to pay the bills, pay the mortgage. If I can pay my mortgage, okay. I'm in a good spot. I'm doing okay. You know, so I think that at first, you know, you cast the nets out and you draw in some things that you don't want to draw in. You know, you get people who are, and Domino's is killing it. They make just an absurd amount of money. God bless them. You know, the Mountain Mike's, the round table, you were talking about your round table experiences as young. I remember, I still can taste the sauce even when I talk about it. Like, you know, you just like,
for me, it was straw hat.
Straw hat.
And
I love,
Shakey's.
I love both of those. Yeah.
You know, so
Southern
it's like,
California.
we have these preconceived things and sometimes people, that's the only thing that they want. And that's okay. That's why they're there and that's why we're here, you know. And then there's other people that are willing to, like, let me try this. Let me see what this is.
Let me explore and try something new. And if I don't like
a lot of the negative stuff came a lot from the people who were sort of fixed.
they were Domino's fans.
Yeah. Well, we did have a gal come in and ask us where the Domino's was. I thought that was fun.
early on.
I don't
we
know.
weren't open. It was a bit shocking, but we were not open at the moment. She came in and, well, do you know where there's a Domino's? And I was like, no. I literally said no.
But I've got
I knew
pizza.
exactly where it was, and I said no.
Are you looking for pizza? Because that's hilarious.
That has happened, actually. Someone has come in, and
Recently,
because
yeah.
we're not a sit-down,
Yeah.
and
So
there's
it's-
a lot of reasons why. They were like, well, do you know there's a pizza place nearby that I could sit down? And I was like,
But we
promoted our
local
community.
guys. Right.
It's what you do. Right. You know, inside I wanted to scream, but I was like, oh, well, you know.
Yeah. So it's that part's a challenge. Is getting. I think it's fighting others' expectations of you. I don't think that people necessarily intend to come in. There are a few that will come in to tear you down because they like to see the world burn, kind of thing, you know. But I think that a lot of sort of the negative comes from people just come in expecting a thing, and then you're not that,
and then they're just angry. I don't know why.
They're upset that they.
It's the oddest thing. People are very sensitive about their pizza.
Yeah.
And everyone's an expert.
A very polarizing.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Really, because I'm with the garbage disposal of pizza.
Same.
Like if it's, you know,
Like,
and
yes.
like I said, Domino's, I'll pound a Domino's pizza.
Me too.
No shame. No shame. I will eat all of it.
It's just such an umbrella term, you know?
Right.
And when you say you're opening up a pizzeria, everyone's mind just has like this idea.
Of
but
what
like
it
they didn't
is.
even ask you, like, what are you making?
Yeah.
Right?
It was like, oh.
But you think that was the hate. It was just like.
I think so. Because, I mean, to be honest, the community members that have come out in support of us, that have helped us grow our brand and helped us get to kind of where we're at now, their love has been so much greater than any of the negativity. The negativity just kept, it trips you up. Anytime you start something new, right? You're
sensitive,
especially,
to it.
she was a teacher for 25 years. I'd been in sales for 10 years. I'd done teaching for 10 years. We both had lives, and now we're starting this thing, and we're babies, and we're little babies crawling out there. And so you're a grown person, and you have these expectations of self, and you can't achieve those things because you don't know it yet. You're still a baby feeling it out.
Everyone has to crawl when they start before they start walking.
Crawl before you walk, and before you run, and before you fly. And so it's just accepting that in yourself too, and knowing that these are mistakes, and knowing that some of those customers that I don't want to say burn bridges with, but you didn't meet the expectations that they were shooting for, and they had a negativity about it. You just have to know that it's a growth thing. I might not get Idris back, and I'm sad about that because he's such a cool guy. But I might not get him back, but if I can learn from that and do better, or maybe that's not the direction we want to go in either. You know what I mean? That's the other thing is, if you come from a pizza, if I came from Pizza My Heart, and I've been making Pizza My Heart pizza forever, and they have great pizza, by the way. Then I'm probably going to make Pizza My Heart pizza, and it's going to be that style, and I'm going to be very comfortable in it, and I don't have to have doubt about it. But when we started, we had a thing that we thought was good, and we had, again, that doubt of just like, is this where we are? Is this right? Is this meeting all the expectations? Is this enough for us to survive on? I guess there was some fun times there, but so when you hear the doubt, what's great is the pizza community, having the mentors, having people like you, having people like Lars Smith, and Lars and Christine Smith, and just everybody that we've met at Expo, and making those connections.
It's like a support system, right?
Right. Yeah. It's a shoulder to cry on.
Yeah. I mean, I'm amazed at this. You can say, oh, this happened. And someone will be, oh yeah, let me tell you about the 300 times that happened to us,
right.
And I'm like, okay, so it's not just us. Okay, great. I mean, I don't want anyone else to feel what I felt, but it's also just running a restaurant is a huge risk. Running a restaurant, and even my uncle was like, "Restaurant? No. What are you guys thinking? What are you thinking?"
But then he ate the pizza.
Not thinking.
Then he ate the pizza.
Sure.
And then everyone ate the pizza, and And everyone saw our vision, and I loved our concept and our branding it is brilliant. I
love
think
your
it's super
branding.
fun. There's
It's
well,
us.
you know, Shakespeare is one of the greatest dramatists of all time, in my opinion, and he was the punniest guy, right? So
And pizza is a very punny food.
oh yeah,
It's
Yeah.
like
perfectly punny in pizza.
Love the alliteration.
Yeah,
Me
that's
too.
what, we have so much fun with that. That's been so much fun, and everyone and our customers too get into it.
Right.
They get into it.
Dr. What is this? Dr. Dave.
Yeah, I
Dr.
forget.
Dave. Dr. Dave. He comes in and he's always got some quote that he's trying to spin
With pizza.
with pizza. And it's just
cute.
a Shakespearean Cohen. And what's that from? And he's like, dude, it's Shakespeare. It's like, man, for me, like she studied it. Like I studied Shakespeare. You know,
like, here's in the back. Let me go get her, and you can re-say it.
See, that's all Shakespeare to me. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway.
So you get those customers, which is the highlight of your day when like some
Oh,
negative people come in.
the love.
You also have like people like your pizza dad
Yes.
who help you. How often do you call this guy? And what did he say when you won the competition and like first met him?
So Don Dameron is at Barnstormers Pizza
in Michigan.
in Michigan.
Yeah.
We met him at that mixer, the very first expo, and they bonded real quick. Like it was like his dad, you know, just instantly.
I had another mentor from college who did similar personality, so
Gotcha.
he reminded me of him, and we kind of gelled really quickly. But
Nice.
yeah, he was just like he'd been in restaurants and in catering for again forever and ever and ever, and just started in pizza, and he'd been in pizza for 18 months, and he's just killing it. He was talking about trying to build out his space and people coming in to try and help him build out his space. That kind of thing. But we talked to him. It's not always once a week. It's kind of like talking to your parents. Sometimes you talk to them once a week. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's 3 times a week.
Yeah, when we won the Yelp, when we got on the Yelp list, the top 100, he was like, we were on the phone with him instantly.
He called us.
He was so.
He was like, "What are you doing now?" We were like, "Well, we're doing this." He said, "Drop that. Here's what you're gonna do."
What did he say?
He was talking about just reaching out to just helping to get the news beyond just Yelp's reach. So it was contact the news reporters, the
newspapers,
print and
radio
and news media.
stations.
And so we
Just
spent
yourself.
the next 3 or 4 hours reaching out locally, and we benefited.
It paid
because,
off. We got on the news.
The local CBS station came out. We had several articles written, and it's helped to sort of perpetuate this. And he's like, "Man, you guys are gonna." His last words were, "Man, I hope you're so busy you can't even see straight." You know, he was just so positive about it, and you know, it's just been just anything from the dough handling, employee management, how should we grow, point of sale, just all of it. He's got great advice, and he's
He's a great pizza dad.
he's a dad.
Yeah, he's
It's
a
like
dad.
having a dad.
Does he
right?
scold you too?
Yes.
Oh,
And makes fun of us
yes.
all the time.
Oh, okay. Well, what does he make fun of you for?
The oven.
Yeah, and then our new point of sale system, we didn't really have time to get
Yeah.
trained. And
Oh, he says, yeah. Who in the hell onboards a point of sale system while they're doing service? I think something
Yeah,
along those
yeah.
lines.
Yeah,
We're like,
just-
well, we do because we can't afford to be closed, bro.
and you need to get more employees. Always getting on us about employees.
Always about employees. But he also has a different minimum wage in Michigan.
Yes, it's different
Sure.
there.
Yeah.
So
But no, yeah, definitely like a tongue-in-cheek chastisement, you know, that kind of thing, and just really helps keep us motivated and stay on the path. And again, it's somebody
Comes from a good place.
yes,
right. You know, whenever you're doing something scary, it's nice to have that mom or dad figure that you can. What's going on here? How do we do this? Like, am I doing? It's like, no, keep going. If you keep going, you'll make it. And I think that's one of the things that we've drawn from starting this is it is sometimes it's a great idea, sometimes greater products, but we know there's bad products that are succeeding out there, or bad products, but they achieve another goal. So sometimes it's just endurance. You know, he said, Don, this is I can tell you how to have a successful restaurant. just be richer than all get out. You know, just have more money. If you
Yeah.
have a ton of money to throw at it, you're going to be
You're gonna be
successful.
successful.
And then I think he was like, whatever your initial estimates are, times that by 3, and, and you'll
Really?
probably be okay.
We were,
and we started with a low estimate, and it's like, ooh, this
should
isn't
have
going to work.
asked for more.
Should have asked for more. Yeah, but
So,
you know.
so how did you guys fund this beautiful shop of yours? Retirement accounts, investors?
Yes. No, we had a lot, a nest egg set aside. We had been saving money from teaching. Now, that wasn't a lot, but we'd been saving, and not spending. And then we got an angel investor, which my dad,
Pops, yeah.
my pops, he really believed in our bring on and us. And he's like, all right, I got you. What do you need? And we lowballed. We didn't realize we were going to need to ask again.
We ended up having to ask again for another loan. But,
Yeah. But we are I feel so blessed that we have that.
as loan givers go, he's a pretty good guy.
Good terms.
Yeah, we're in good terms.
Good terms for his
Pretty good
daughter.
guy.
Once in a while, when he talks about Guido coming out,
yeah,
but
break
some
some
legs, but
If you were to do it like differently 3 years ago, right? Would you have asked for it all at once? Because it almost makes sense to like ask for the lower amount,
Right.
because it's a softer blow.
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't disagree with you. And,
Yeah.
and our initial premise was, I mean, you see the space is relatively small.
it was turnkey.
We had
How many square feet?
1,200.
1,200.
So it's not terribly small. But,
No, it's not.
As far as restaurant spaces go, it's right in that smaller end. The key was the rent number. It was like it had to be around this number.
Price per square foot
Yeah, just the total monthly expense.
with, yeah.
So that because then I could say, well, again, I'm thinking how many. I think in pizzas. And,
Yeah.
and I've got her thinking in pizzas. She's
I
not
don't
a
do
math
math.
person. But I'm like, every time she's like, we should do this. I'm like, well, that's going to cost, can we do 10 more pizzas a week if we do that?
Like,
It's, that's a good question. So we think in pizzas. And I said, well, if we have rent that's this,
Yeah.
and our food cost is approximately, in this range that, most restaurants are in the 25 to 30, hopefully not over 30, but in that 25 to
For food
30%
costs.
range. Yeah. And so it's like, okay, if we can keep the food costs in that range and our rent's this, then we should be able to achieve this if we can only have X number of customers, and it's like, so it was really trying to keep it, how can we keep it in a range that we could manage? Because if you bring somebody else in, then it's their vision, especially when you don't know what you're doing. If we brought some other restaurant manager in, the restaurant would have been run, it'd probably be run significantly better than we do it now. But it would become their vision, and then it becomes all them. And I wanted us to have enough background to be willing to release certain things to that next level. And I think that's where we're kind of evolving towards. But so just keeping that small scope, keeping that, and like you said earlier, like asking for a little, we wanted to keep that overhead cost as low as possible. Right. We had looked actually at another place. We would have had we would have had to remodel. It had restaurant, like sewer and all that before, but it wasn't a restaurant currently. So you had to demo everything.
Yeah,
that was going to be a huge cost.
And,
Right.
and the people that went in there, they spent $500,000 renovating. And it's like, oh,
so
that's
buying
a whole nother level of pressure.
That's a lot of money. But so buying secondhand, ballpark cost, what would you say to someone who's looking to buy in a similar situation? Smaller footprint. This 1,200 square feet is pretty big compared to some restaurants, but like getting a second generation pizzeria that has basically almost everything.
We really got lucky.
We did.
When you look at a lot of the pizzerias for sale out there, they're 100 to 250, and you're buying a lot of equipment, you're buying a lot of stuff. And the guy who was in here that we took over his lease, he had already got the equipment from it. It's an old take and bake, so he'd already gotten the refrigeration equipment from them. He brought in an oven, and so we came in pretty low. Like our initial spend was what, 35K on just an asset purchase.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I feel like we were pretty again, when you're talking 6 figures versus not 6 figures,
Right.
not 6 is
That extra from 5 to 6 is a pretty big difference.
it's a big change,
Yeah.
change. So we were. It's hard to say. I know, like, you want like the sort of a better catch-all answer, I guess. It's hard to say because you got to know what your position is and what you're willing to risk. But a lot of equipment that you're buying into, you're going to find that unless you're the exact same restaurant, you're either you're not going to need it, you're not going to use it, and even if you are, restaurant owners, there's no return on this equipment, and so they ride that stuff.
Oh yeah,
it's that old Ford Pinto, 1989 Ford Pinto with 10 million miles on it, right? That all of their equipment is just patched together with duct tape, and and we're still finding stuff that we have to fix. But so you might not be buying what you think you're buying with that.
Interesting. So that $35,000, you're just gonna have to like chalk it up to like maybe even half of that is the actual value.
You're gonna get stuff you don't want, and you're gonna consign right away.
Yeah, we dumped a bunch. We had things. I wanted to make it work. I wanted to make the equipment have value to us, and I was just like, you know what? It's impeding our forward progress. Dump it. Yeah. And we put it in consignment, and we made almost nothing on it.
And there was a lot of it was nothing.
Like when the check came in, I said, "Is this for all of it?"
I was like, "Wait, what?" And I think also you have to understand what you're getting into. That it may not be this. Did not end up being exactly what we wanted as far as the setup and what we were willing to. We were like, you know what, these people are taking us. We're going to make it work.
We used to joke that all I wanted this place that was a brick wall that had the word pizza and it's kind of the paint chipped above it and just a window. And I was like, if I can, because then I still have a shop. Like I don't care whatever the shop is. We talked about food trucking. Maybe we should food truck.
We looked at a commercial kitchen and we were like, whoa,
I do think if your only option is food truck, go for it. There's a lot of flexibility. I understand why people do it. I don't think it was right for us. I'm glad that we were able to get into a brick and mortar and not have to go that direction.
I think the pop-ups cured us from that too.
We almost got run over.
Going to the wineries, and it was fun. And it, don't get me wrong, I like doing the wineries. It was really fun, but it's really taxing on the body and
set
mind.
Up and take down.
It's tiring. It is tiring.
And the kids, we had to drag the kids out, and it's just a lot. And then we almost got run over one time. So we were
like off the side of the road.
Actually, the gal drove over a retaining wall.
I know, and it crushed our table.
Was this after a couple zins, or
no? It was
apparently
like
she
12
just
o'clock.
started her day.
It was
12 o'clock.
Luckily, so it was our dishwashing table. Zoe, our daughter, was there
washing a
like
dish
5 minutes before that, and then she was done and she was sitting down away from that, and the gal, boom, like Dukes of Hazzard, straight up over the wall, crushed the table,
crushed this
missed our tent by probably
that's
our oven is like. I looked and I'm like, I was so shocked. We have pictures of it. She had a senior moment. She thought she was hitting the brake. She was hitting the thing.
That's scary.
And so she felt very sorry. And we even bought her a pizza and everything. She was obviously so like shaken up. We were shaken up. We could barely make pizzas after that. We were just like,
time to get a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
So, I think that the hustle of having to go place to place and constantly booking, that's stressful when that's your primary, when that's your bread and butter. Like that's where you're making your entire nugget, I guess.
Why is that stressful?
To me, having to places change what they want. You have to move stuff here to there, prepping for these individual events.
Yeah.
Versus being just on ringing the dinner bell, ding, 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 ding.
We're here.
Yeah,
and that's
we have this many dough balls. That's it.
Yeah.
That's also hard. I mean, we had a day. What day was it? We sold one on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
We
that was
sold
very
one
pizza.
One
pizza.
one.
It was never a 0, never a donut day.
No donuts.
No donuts.
No gutters.
But a 1.
What? Yeah. So how far into the journey was that day? Like,
it was early. That was pretty early. That was in the first couple months.
First couple months in, and it was what day of the week?
Wednesday.
All right.
You never forget a Wednesday.
Historically bad.
Yeah. So one pizza.
One. Yeah.
Nope. And then we've had a record sale on Wednesday too. I mean, we've had one, and we've had the most on a Wednesday we've ever. We were like, this is like a Friday service, and it's a Wednesday.
Right.
What did you do to deserve that? What?
The record service or the one?
Both. I want to know both. Yeah.
I think the thing is with marketing is no matter the science or the strategy you put behind it, the goal for us was always we have a different goal than maybe another business. If you're starting out, and you interviewed another local one that's mom and pop, you want to attract people, but I don't want to spend $5,000 on marketing to bring in 10 times the people that we could possibly handle and just totally fumble that too. Yeah. So we were trying to do this stupid game of throttling with our hey, pay attention to us, but no, not that much. Pay attention to us.
Yeah.
And so we were in a not that much, and people they didn't pay attention to us. And it took quite a bit. And the Yelp thing, obviously it tipped us over.
We were there though. We were so close. Like you
can feel it.
I can feel it. People
kept
get hit
coming in
so soon.
I heard about you. Oh, my friend told me about you this time. Oh, I saw you.
And this article.
I saw this article.
This magazine.
All of these things were starting to converge, and I think we would have probably still reached a point, but then having that recognition on Yelp really put it over the top, and then it was like, oh, how do we do this? There's a whole different how do we do this, But going from that one.
Hustle, we had to apply for grants. We got 2-3 grants within this time. I mean, you got to hustle, and even the winery things, I had to hustle for those, and to get into the local magazines, I was like, hello, we're here. Right. We do this amazing thing. Check us out. And you have to really put yourself out there, even if you're not. I know he's not as comfortable as I'm used to being in the public eye, but he's not as comfortable. And I said, okay, let me just be the face, and I'm going to put myself out there, even if I look ridiculous in my, in my hats.
You look good too. Come on.
That's why the hats and everything, all the theatrics that we put into our business, it's to say, look at me, we're here.
And we've tried things that didn't work. We tried lunch service.
We've done lunch service. That almost killed us because it's just him and I, and we were like here, like 10 o'clock in the morning till like 10 o'clock at night. For like a month we did it, and we were like, this is not.
It generated virtually no sales during that lunch.
Because there's no footprint here. This is not a place where people just come and like hang around.
Right. I think that's another thing is understanding, like it was a hypothesis we had about the space that we were in, that certain things would work better and certain things would work not as well. As for instance, by the slice. To me, slice is a foot traffic kind of thing. Like if you have a place where, unless you're Tony and people are just coming because you're Tony.
Right.
Love you, Tony. Unless you're that, to me, a slice place is a place where you have people walking by and they can pick it and eat it and go do other things. And it's off the beaten path. Like people would
really
have to find you, and then they're going to find you. I mean, even if they want to find you and they want the slice, is it sustainable for you as a business model to only sell a slice, and then what do you do with the rest? Like, are you going to sell 2 slices? Are you going to sell 1 slice and throw the rest of the pizza out? Is that your dinner for the next 3 weeks? Like what are you doing with that? And so it was just, we decided early on
the one size,
because how do we know how many small pizza dough balls to make versus large? It was just like, do one size.
Really simplifying the process.
Yes. Right.
So there's limited waste. You know what you're going to put out.
Right. And I think part of that was because our strength wasn't being a restaurant manager.
What was your strength? You're like still trying to figure that out.
Sorry about that.
No, I think, I have a marketing background. She's got the theatrical background. So I think we're good at kind of getting out there and presenting
Connecting
ourselves.
with our community for
connecting.
sure.
I see that.
And then I think our dough
I definitely see that.
Our dough was a good product. And I think so leaning on those two things and just saying, okay, how can we do this? And I guess it's kind of fun now. We're in a position where it's like, okay, how do we now add to that? Like we've talked doing Detroit and things like that. But I think early on, just really narrow your focus. I'm about cost control. Mm-hmm. Like control your overhead, control your costs, minimize your exposure until you start to get traction. Because it's going to take.
It might take a while to get traction.
Yeah, some people get it right away, and bless you. And you're obviously smarter than me, but it took us a year and a half to get traction. And so just know it might take a year and a half, 2 years.
Be patient and keep going. And like the competitions and to continue to create those bonds with just local pizzerias. We try to reach out to local.
Well, and even, one of our mission, we have our pillars that we sort of founded on was, one of them was feeding people. When we were at the high school, we were big on the canned food drive and raising a lot of food for people. And so we said, well, now we're making food, like we have to do this, right? And even when sales weren't there, we were like, this is important to us and this is important to our identity. And I think it resonates with our community. They're like, wow, these people are they're giving. And, not that we do that to gain the exposure or the extra, but it also kind of comes with it. It's like, okay, cool. And what's great is, so we got the notoriety, the Yelp, and then like immediately we were like, let's give back. We're going to give back to
Goodness Village.
Goodness Village is a tiny home place over here in Livermore that's at our church, and because of the notoriety, we were able to raise more than we've ever raised in a single month.
It was so amazing
and
to
so it was
write
like,
them that check and be like, here
bring
you
that
go.
Over,
This makes me feel amazing. Here you go. And they were just like, thank you. We're like, can we do more? Could we do more? And they're like, yeah.
Right.
That's awesome.
So, but Slice Out Hunger. That's when we met Scott on Scott's Pizza Tours and Aaron. That's how we got with Slice Out Hunger, and that was that whole campaign started. And again, this was all expo. Just going to my advice. You want to get in the business? Go to expo.
I hope they're paying us.
I know, but I do say that. I learned so much. Just the women in pizza. Going to that discussion panel. I think it was Nicole Bean, Nicole Russell.
There's another girl on there.
That I was so inspired, and I got to meet Andrew and Alexandra. I almost said Andrea. Alexandra Marotti, and then I was like, oh, I got to be a part of this movement. I want some women to know you can do this industry. And then just for my daughter to see, hey, you can do whatever you want. And anyway, that was a whole nother path and something I felt very strongly about. And having this pizzeria allowed me to have those connections, allowed me to be in that movement and allowing to be exposed to all of this other stuff that's been coming our way. It's been one thing after the other when things are not working and we are like, oh no, what are we doing? Something shows up.
Right. After crying in the corner for a little
bit.
Usually you're crying and rocking yourself to.
Well, things don't come to you unless you cry. So,
right. Yeah.
Cry loud.
And cry, not cry about it and like whine, but like cry like help.
Yeah. But, and you care. You cry because you care.
Yeah,
exactly.
I know,
joking aside, but we're still very sensitive in our business, and that's when our pizza dad also gets on us about that. Like you gotta.
Right, because he's big on responding to all the reviews and just we tried that early on. I don't know which way is the best way. I just know what worked for us, and I just know that even reading positive reviews, it's tough emotionally. Like it's very positive and it's exciting, but it's also like. It takes a lot out of you, and then to just constantly be dealing with that emotional roller coaster that is the up and down review. Oh, they don't have artichoke hearts. One star or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, well, we didn't say we did, so I don't. You know what I mean? But so that it's really tough, especially when you're starting because you have 10 reviews. And so one
And some are
3-star,
fake,
one
and it could be a
star.
fake review.
There are
several
that drove us
Be
nuts.
careful.
And,
people
Wow.
are mean.
and it was that part was really tough. And then we just said, you know what? We need to just focus on continuing to be us. And I think we have a good product, and I think that people like us. And I think if we continue to be us and genuine, I think that'll get out there. And yes, the reviews help, but I think that us doing us is more important than that.
100.
We made that shift, and it's tough, but because we are social media world, and you have to be out there. But it was too much with all of the other things that we do, from janitor on up, that we do here. It was too hard to add that to the plate, and so we chose to cut where we could cut and focus our energy on us being better. And then I think it's worked. I don't know. We're still here.
We're still here.
You're still here.
Still paying rent.
One of the things pizza makers spend the most money on is cheese. Every time I have a catering event, cheese is my biggest ingredient cost. But what if I told you there's a cheese company out there that lets you earn cash back for every pound of cheese purchased? I'm talking about Baccio Cheese. And their Gold Club Rewards members receive their rewards card every month that can be used wherever Visa is accepted. So the more cheese you buy, the more you can earn. Literally, you get paid to use Baccio Cheese. Now that is cool. Learn more at Baccio Cheese using the link in the show notes. Let's talk about pan pizzas for a quick second. What are you using to press out your dough? I found out that whatever fat you use greatly affects the flavor of your pizza. And that is why the only brand I trust with my pizza is Cordo olive oil. Taste is everything, and other brands and other fats pale in comparison. Do you want to taste the difference? Go to cordo-olive.com using the link in the show notes. You can purchase a bottle there, or if you're an operator, you can get a free tasting. Just message me and I'll connect you with them. I'll leave my contact in the show notes. Thank you, Cordo Olive Oil, for sponsoring the podcast. On the note of still being here and paying rent, I think that is one of the biggest anxieties of starting a business is like, can I make my pizza count, right? I like to think of it as how many pizzas I can sell. You said how many customers do we need?
Right.
Even with mobile catering, it's like, am I going to get that next customer to book me?
Right.
Whereas having just wave a flag and have a place for people to come. How do you get over that? How do you come to terms with just that uncertainty?
Yeah.
How did you? And how do you continue to?
I think for me, I believe in our business. I believe in our brand. I believe in my brain. And if this doesn't work out, I can keep going. I'm an educated person. We have a huge support group and people that are always constantly pumping us up when we are kind of feeling dark and sad and this hasn't been going away. We've had a really challenging onboarding process with our new point of sale system, and it has been very, very clunky. But our community has been very supportive. They've been very understanding for the most part. Like, oh, hey, you have a new website and you have a new this, and we're like, yeah, thank you for your patience. But just knowing that I can do something else if this doesn't work out.
Right.
Believing in ourselves.
Because we were something prior, so we both have education.
You're saying that if this ship sinks, I can still swim.
Right. So my message to her when we started, because this is all her fault. Everybody.
Yeah.
It's all her fault.
I blame you.
And the problem is me.
I said, we bought our house. We have equity. At the end of the day, we sell the house to cover the business debts and move in with mom and dad and get a job. That works. Not what you want to do in your 40s, not really the way you want to script life, but it wasn't.
It's not the worst thing in the world.
Right. Like I guess it was sort of rationalizing the negative of it. It's sort of
almost normalizing it. It's like it's going to be okay.
We're
going to be fine.
And it's funny because we were actually just talking about this today. A lot of that success stuff is don't plan on your failure, right? Don't work on your failure plan, and to an extent, don't focus your energy on your failure plan. But for me, I'm an anxious guy, you know, like I needed to know, like,
what if it does fail?
The analogy I used was like some people excel on the tightrope when there's no net.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the focus comes in and they really drive. And we see a lot of that with our pro athletes that we idolize. And like when it's all on the line, that's when they come down and we're like, wow, that person's amazing. And they are. But some people actually seize up in those moments, and having the net, having some kind of net, some kind of idea, like there's a net if we fail in our business. Some people are allowed to thrive then, because then they know I got that part's covered, you know. And you know, we come from a religious background, and so we lean on that a little bit too. Just like he's got us, you know. We know we've got somebody looking out for us, and we got some forward. And at the end of the day, we're not going to be on the streets trying to figure out how to feed our kids, you know.
I love the mindset portion of this because that's all me, right? I do the same hypotheticals in my head. Like, how much do I have to sell? Do I need to move in with my in-laws today? Or do I wait to make that ask in a couple of years, right? That's what I'm going through in the back of my head, because I too do want to do something full-time outside of my regular work, but I'm still trying to just juggle it all right now. And like, I'm not ready just yet. But those scenarios are still playing in my mind. What I would love to know, just like on the business side and the hard costs, just on the business side, like something tactical. Yeah. What was your number of pizzas that you needed to sell?
Yeah.
You know, we started and I was like, based off of us catering, we could totally make 50 pizzas a night. And then you start putting in the numbers and you're like, gosh, if we do 50 pizzas a night and we keep our costs here, look at all the money we make. Yeah, well,
it's not that simple.
50 is hard for two people to do, to be honest, in a short period, because
the time.
It's sort of the math not catching up with the reality of the situation. The reality is people want pizza from 5 o'clock to 7:30 or 7. It's like a 2-hour window. Oh, well, now 50 pizzas in 2 hours for two people is a lot different.
For a little oven and my poor old hands,
right.
You know.
So we sort of, you know, we started adapting our methodology. Mostly it was about changing the messaging to the people.
Yes.
Like, we are only capable of this.
Pre-order.
Please pre-order so we can guarantee your wait time. We really are trying to be. I'm not maybe as sensitive as some of our mentors, even. Like, some of them are like, if you're over 30 minutes, they're not going to come to your shop. And I get it. I totally get it. And I would be that person sometimes, and I'd be like, oh, 30 minutes? Okay, well, never mind. I can understand that. But I don't want to tell you it's 30 minutes and then deliver the pizza in 90 minutes. That's what I didn't want to do.
That's just the reality.
And sometimes, you know, you get tripped up and people are waiting an extra 30, 40 minutes over what you told them. And that's been bad. And that's where, you know, systems have failed. And we continue to increase or adapt our systems and grow and try and change that and meet those expectations. So now we're closer to that number. And when you start looking at it, it doesn't really have to be. 50 was like, oh man, we got a yacht going in the Bahamas, and that projection. I haven't even looked at that spreadsheet in a while, but I did a whole Excel spreadsheet and, you know, just tried to kind of put things together. But when we were struggling, it was like, okay, if we can just do this number, you know, just please cover. Initially,
what was that number?
I think if we could get to 30, which we've been doing over 30 now, but yeah, if we could get 30 a night,
that was going to be every night 30.
It was like we weren't going to be rich, but the mortgage is paid, the rent is paid, the food is paid. Okay, we can do this, you know. And so it was like, okay. And now again, we've kind of moved past that. So let's stick on 30 because people listening want to know what their realistic number is, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And if there is a night of the week, let's say you're open how many nights a week? 6.
Yes.
Let's say you didn't make 180 pizzas on a week. What do?
Try to make more than 180 next week.
But is that even possible with the constraints that you have on your?
I think that's one of the hard parts.
What would happen is we would sell out the previous week. So the dough, it's all about the dough. We have a long ferment,
part of it, yeah.
and we can only make so many a day. And then what would happen, well, and it has happened to us when we got hit with the whole Yelp thing, we sold out,
Right.
but we would sell it at 30.
I see.
And we
Right.
can do more,
I see.
but we just physically did not have
You're
the
right.
dough.
I mean, so again, that goes back to how do you succeed in owning a restaurant that's having a ton of money? Like, so if you
Let's go back.
if you're not doing the 180 a week or whatever that number is that fits your budget or whatever, you need to be able to ride that for a while. And I don't mind telling you, we're on the cheap medical, you know what I mean? Like the income went down and the savings was depleted and the credit cards are maxed and, you know, that all happened. But now we're in a position where we're paying some of that off and we're building up the savings again. And it's just, again, I think there's something to be said for that endurance. I think putting what would you call it? In like investment trading, like a
Stopgap?
Yeah. Just like putting a stop, but you know, within your risk tolerance, I guess, is it's always everybody's risk tolerance is greater. But I think
I can lose this much, my hair stays on. I can lose this much, I might go bald. You know, or I could go, I lose this much. Oh man.
Yeah, I have to start pimping out my cat 100%. Or something. Right? You should pet my cat. You know?
So
it's true.
I mean, that's part of the risk of being business owners. But do you recommend people take that risk?
I think it's hard to say no. I think you get, at the end of the day, we work hard. You know, like she said, her hands, she's got arthritis in the hands. At the end of a week, it feels rough. At the end of the day, like I'm like, we have to find a way to get people. I can't stand this long. You know, my body hurts. I'm in old man phase. You know, I'm not young man phase. Could stand for 10 hours a day. Old man phase, I can't do this. You know, and it starts to wear on you. And at the end of the day, though, we built this.
It's mine, right? It's mine.
We built this.
I don't
and
mind
even if it closes
sacrifice.
Tomorrow, we built this.
Something. This
today.
is my legacy. This is I did this.
So
yeah, even if I did it for 2 years, I did it. Yeah. I had a dream. I had a vision.
A Midsummer Night's
it literally did. The name did come to me in a dream. I have talked about this in the past, but I woke up and I was like, what to do about pizza, and it's gonna work, and this is gonna happen, and it's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be a place where the community is gonna come, and I can still do my theater. I can still, you know, we can talk about Shakespeare and
I think the community. I think
that part is
if
the
you're
best.
going to be small,
Yeah.
one of the things that you have to know is, and they, if you go to the education at Expo, they're all hitting this up.
Yeah.
It's about community. Mike Bosch talks about it in his book.
Yeah.
You want them, if you close down, to go petition the mayor and whomever. Like, why did they close down? Why is Idris Pizza closed? Like, why did this happen? Like, it needs to be open. Creating that bond with the community, however you do it. Some people do it through baseball teams. Some people, you know, we do it through giving food and trying to support the arts. That's kind of our thing. You know, what is it that you're going to do in the community other than just pizza? If you're going to be just pizza, that's cool. Hey, there's,
you can do that.
Again, Domino's makes just an insane amount of money. So go and do that. But just know that that's your thing and that's your lane. I think for if you know, talking about kind of the scale that we're talking about on the smaller scale, you really have to be in there, and you have to be somebody that, hey Bob, you want the regular, you know, that kind of thing. Like,
be okay with your community.
Cheers. When you talk about being Cheers, where everybody knows your name, you know, like you want to. I think that's the kind of environment you want to foster, and I think you will succeed. There's no guarantees, never guarantees. Economic stuff happens, other stuff happens. Domino's opens up next door.
Yeah.
You know,
you have to be able to put up with the good and the bad. You have to say, I love this job, the good and the bad. I want to come. I can't wait to come here every day. Yeah, I'm tired and my hands hurt, all that. Yeah. But that's like the physical. But the mental me, like, I can't wait to see my regular, you know, I can't wait to see so-and-so. Are they going to come in tonight or not? And have the chat. And, hey, how did your trip go? It's so great. And they want to know, I can't tell you how many people have asked us about competition, and you know, and they're like, "Oh no, you guys should have, crushed it, and you're the best you're the best pizza to us. You should have, this and that." And it's so fun to have that relationship. But
Very cool.
I'm I'm an extrovert. I'm a people person. I'm a people pleaser. So to me, this is the best job. You know, I loved being a teacher, and that was great too. I got to teach what I loved, and now I get to also teach what I talk about. Pizza. I talk about Shakespeare. I talk about being a parent. You know, and we have this wonderful bond when people come in who want to know about you, and the people come in, they want to judge, and that's a given. But that's okay. You know, it is what it is.
Once you're out there,
that part doesn't feel good, but in the end, like I said, you take the good and the bad.
You take the good and the bad.
Because the good, honestly, for us anyway, I feel like the good has outweighed the bad.
Oh yeah, the good has way outweighed.
The customers that come in and they're, you know, the kid's birthday.
Yeah.
And they will only eat your pizza. Like when you hear that,
yeah.
even if it's one pizza, like it's just like, oh, this is my pizza. Like
with a special night. What's our special? Like my husband's anniversary,
or they got a job or something, and they celebrate, and then they celebrate with you, and you're like, you're not even here all the time, and it's just like, but we're the celebration. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool.
That feels good.
Yeah, it's worth all the risks that you're taking right now.
Yeah,
I think so.
And at the end of the day, you all are turning it around. You all are selling out. There's still the upside.
Yeah.
It could be both community and profitable.
I think so. I think so.
And now that's our next step is growth. How dealing with growth. We've been the last few weeks, month or so. How are we going to deal with growth? Is it another place? Is it a bigger place? What does growth look like? Do we tear this down and we make this?
Better.
We've actually hired some young people, high school age, to help us. I need dish fairies.
Yes.
I'm tired. We were sitting here till like almost midnight when we got hit.
1:00. Yeah.
Yes, and I was like, this is not sustainable. We need somebody. We need help. And I mean, our kids help, and they come in, but no, they're kids. They need their time and their whatever they want to do in life and be social. So we are growing. It's just taking a minute. Like I said, we got a new point of sale system.
We have the joy of having a family business is the conversations about the business. We joke at, Bill and Ted's, in the beginning of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, when they're talking about how they need to get new instruments and they need to learn how to play and they need Eddie Van Halen, and it's this big circle.
Our conversation.
That's our conversation is like, well, we need to do this. Well, in order to do that, we need to do this. Well, if we do that, we need to do this. Which brings us back around to doing the first thing.
To getting Eddie Van Halen.
Almost all of them. So we just always say, well, we just really need Eddie Van Halen. So if you're out there, Eddie, come on down.
So true.
I love the realness of the story, and I love the optimism. I love the experience. I love the community. Look at this. I mean, you have Women in Pizza, proud ambassador, U.S. Pizza team, all these stories. Like, it's such a sweet story so far, and I'm really rooting for you all.
Thank you.
I'm rooting for the fact that you all are out there living your dream, right? Yeah. Like, literally, you had a dream about this.
I did.
And you're doing all that you can to make it work.
Crazy dream. I'm not kidding. I was like, oh, God. Oh.
Pizza. Why pizza? No, it's been great. It's been great.
Did you write it down, like the dream, or like do you remember it that vividly that you can share it?
No, I don't know what pizza. I knew that I wanted to bring something to the community that was special and fun, and people can when you think of pizza, you think of people together gathering around this thing that is so yummy and gooey,
everybody grabs
warmth,
a piece,
and everyone's they're standing up. Some people eat all of the ingredients off with the cheese or whatever, and it's just this fun social experience. And I knew the other things that I wanted to do in life, because life's too short. I'm kind of one of those people that just goes for it. We're very self-serving, and I don't know what it came to me over time. And also I have a lot of digestive issues, and I discovered sourdough and the benefits of fermentation, not just, like the biga and the polish, just adding those different fermenting processes, and how I was physically feeling better. And so I thought, wow, I know there's other people like that out there, like just like me, who need help. Who would want to have a pizza. They want to eat pizza, but they can't because of their gluten sensitivities or whatever, diabetic. We recently heard about Crohn's disease, how sourdough can be good and help.
This gal came in and she has Crohn's, and she said, I can't eat pizza, but I can eat yours. I was like, Oh my God,
I love those.
not
stories.
necessarily the primary mission of what we started with.
It was just something that
just another
developed.
another extra fun thing.
If there's one way to end, I think it has to be my observation that your vision, it's always evolving, but it was always in a good place no matter what, right?
Absolutely.
You have this like grand vision. It's not the clearest, but it comes from like the best intentions.
Yes.
And I think that's beautiful.
I think good intention. I agree. Thank you.
2 things I want to know. Half and half pizza.
Don't talk about it.
No!
What's wrong with it?
Oh, man. Well, okay.
It's never that simple.
So, where the simple side would be, even if it's just half pep, half cheese, for whatever reason, our dough, we love our dough and it's beautiful dough and it's just such a happy dough. And then you put half the toppings on one side and all of a sudden it'll blow up on one side and push the toppings across.
99% of the time.
Literally
I'm not
all
joking.
of the time on half and halves. Literally all of the time. None of the other pizzas. I mean, occasionally, but consistently half and half. The other thing with half and half is people come in and they want you to do like this calculus
Yes.
on a Friday night when you're trying to crank out, however many pizzas you can crank out. And you just like, mostly she builds the pizzas and then I run around at the back end answering phones and ringing people out and putting pizzas on and taking them off. And just,
I'm the front of house.
So I'm kind of doing this most the Friday. And she's trying to build this pizza and concentrate while I'm running around in circles. And it's like, this goes on this half, but this doesn't go on this half. And then
people are talking at me and asking me questions.
They want to do, and the other side of that is people want to do like
half white sauce, half red sauce.
Right, yeah, stuff like. So there's a lot of
a third of pesto. Could you do like a third pesto
Yeah.
and then do like wait, or can I do a Henry on one side, which is our biggest loaded pizza,
like
and a cheese?
Right. And so you get it's soggy on one side because they overtop it with veggie ingredients, for instance, versus the meat ingredients maybe not as soggy or what have you. It's just consistently the product was not what we wanted going out, and
complaints.
Enough complaints.
Enough complaints. I was like,
let's cut it.
We're out.
And it's too bad because we called it the Romeo and Juliet.
It had a great
It was
name.
fantastic
It was
name.
awesome.
Half and half, a house divided. We were like, oh, this is fun. It's not fun.
It's not fun.
Don't start with half and halves. Just don't do it.
I'm sort of sad because my favorite, like if, I can only eat so much pizza.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it's usually just me and my wife. And sometimes she has different tastes than me. And let's get what you want and let's get what I want on one pizza and call it a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I totally get what you're saying. I've seen the whole pepperoni drip onto the cheese.
Right.
Yeah.
When I was working at Stuffed Pizza, I've messed up a few pizzas myself, accidentally putting some of the toppings on the other.
Right.
And it's
And
just
then
like
you're
the
like-
calculus.
It's a
in your-
mind.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And
It's
when
draining.
when you're busy too, right? When you're busy.
It's always
When
on a
it's
Friday
slow,
night, Saturday.
Right. When
Yeah.
you're slow, it's just
Slow,
like
yeah.
During dinner service,
You're fine. But
I'm
yeah.
okay. Here's what I'm okay with. Say you got one of our regular pizzas, but you just don't want mushroom on half. Fine.
Fine.
That I can do. No problem.
It's
No,
when you
not a
start.
problem.
When we first opened, so we had. She said our Henry. Our Henry is
Four
Henry
meats,
the
four
8. So it's
veggie.
4 meats, 4 veg. So it's a loaded pizza. It's overloaded. I know, Tony. I'm sorry, Tony.
It's
I
more
know
than
it's not
5.
more than 5, but we had to. It has to be gluttonous. Forgive me. And then our Hamlet is our play on a Hawaiian. So it's ham and pineapple and prosciutto and a bunch of stuff.
I like
And everybody always wanted to split those two, and they're so different in total toppings. It was like build one on one side,
2 versus
and then
8.
go back and build an. So it's basically building 2 pizzas anyway. And it's like, well, I'm not charging you enough for this. Is what it-
Like,
what
I
it came
need to
down
charge you
to.
for my time.
You
here.
know, right? Because it holds up the line.
Oh, I see. And the Henry VIII, I'm guessing, is more expensive than the Hamlet. Is that?
Yeah, a
or
little more.
A little more.
Yeah.
And would you just, when you were doing that, were you just charging the full price?
We were
of the
just
Henry
charging the Henry, yeah.
But it still wasn't worth it.
No, this because basically, I mean, especially at this point, at the time it would take her to build one of those, I could have cooked 4 pizzas.
I'm wondering if there would if a surcharge would have been worth it. That's if you could get the dough to.
We did
react.
initially. We did the half and half, and we were like, you can top it however you want. And we had a gal basically do that, and then she was like, I basically paid for 2 pizzas. I was
Like, yeah.
You could do that. And then I didn't feel good about that, but it was also kind of like, well, but you knew.
And you asked for it.
Yeah.
And you asked for that. And so then it was like, okay,
that's not a win-win situation.
That doesn't work.
It's not a win. And that and like I said, the complaints are just too great.
And to be honest, I was actually surprised because, we were also, because she's vegetarian and I'm not, we were also a half and half household.
Yeah.
When we would order out. And the number of our contemporaries that are running their pizzerias and just absolutely, it's not anywhere on the menu. It's do not substitute, no half and half, don't touch it.
I get it now.
You get it now.
Yeah, we get it, and they don't do it. And I was like, well, if they're not doing it, I mean, I can
kind of makes
also
sense.
not do it.
And who doesn't want leftover pizza?
Yeah, just get two. Just get two.
Just get two. I mean, at the end of the day, you should probably order.
And that's how we are now. I mean, now I'm like, no, you order your own pizza. I'm getting mine.
There you go.
Don't let your stuff's not touching mine.
I get the spicy.
He was the spicy guy.
Nice. All right. Well, that was great. Final question for you two. No right or wrong answer. Take it as it is.
Uh-huh.
What's good dough?
What's good dough? What makes good dough?
The love you put into it.
Yeah, at the same time.
Oh, man. I think, you get what you put out to the community. Whatever you put into your business, whatever you put out to your business, you're going to get back. The positive, negative. And I think as far as actually like dough, it's a science, it's a love. You cook what you want. Who cares what everyone else is doing? Or guy down the street is crushing it with his, so what? What's you're passionate about? What do you care about? Maybe you come up with something totally different and new, and you want to put weird eggs in your dough, or I don't know, yogurt. I don't know.
We always get asked about eggs.
We do get eggs. That's just so strange. Anyway,
which we don't do.
We don't. No, we don't have.
I don't know who does.
I don't know. But I think that's what I think. Well,
I just gonna stick with the love, but Chatty
I went
Cathy
for
over
it.
here.
That's perfect.
I just be inspired and be loved. Pizza, okay. If you don't love pizza, don't start a pizzeria. I mean, I feel like that's kind of obvious, but we love pizza. I mean, I'm always happy. Like when we have no food at home, I have pizza. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm giving pizza. Pizza's people's favorite part of their week is pizza.
Friday night.
Just being part of that and just loving that and loving the community. Even though the kids hate it, they're gonna look back 25 years from now and be like, Mom and Dad weren't that bad. This is kind of fun. This is pretty cool that we did this. So I think, that's what's good.
That's what's
dope.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Pedro.
Do you want a chance to win a $250 Uni gift card? Well, this is how you do it. Within the next 3 months, if you purchase something from uni.com using my affiliate link, send me your receipt. Each receipt that you send me, whether it's yours or a friend's or a neighbor's, will give you one entry into a raffle that will be giving away a $250 Uni gift card. That's all you have to do. All right. Happy buying and best of luck. And thank you for supporting me and my show sponsors.